back, everybody, to the Darkest Fears podcast, and we are returning after a long hiatus. Definitely, a lot has happened within, I think it's been like a year since we recorded our last episode.
I think that was what I saw when I was looking last time.
Yeah, and, definitely a little bit has been on my part because, I've been going through quite a bit with music, and Venomous Echoes has kind of just like taken off, and I've just been so busy with it and other mental health shit on my side too.
I would say not to totally blame that because the film has been kind of poopy when it comes to
Yeah, no joke. So definitely agree with that. But yeah, today we are talking about Longlegs.
There she is. So what's your name? Little angel? Nice to meet you. I'm being waiting.
We just saw it today, and coincidentally, it's kind of funny that we saw it today, and we're going to be premiering this episode on the 14th, which will have a significant meaning in this movie, which is such a coincidence.
Yeah.
I didn't even know anything about that. If you haven't seen the film, you'll know what we're talking about. We'll get into it. So, Mike, what was your initial thoughts on the film?
I mean, I went in, like I told you, trying not to watch anything. I think I saw the original trailer once, and I didn't even replay it. I was just like, no, I'm gonna lock that in. And then I would send you a trailer when it premiered, but sometimes I would send them to you and not even watch them. I'm gonna wait for Ben's reaction to know if I should bother with it or not. But like I said, going into it, I'm very apprehensive about Nick Cage. I know he has his fanboys, and that's all good, but it's probably 1 in 10 roles of his this is definitely one of them for sure.
I agree. He's been on this big renaissance of just doing film after film after film. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of them are duds. But, when he does a good film, it's really fucking good. And I think this one is one of the better ones. His performance is so over the top, and it's so unsettling and so creepy, and it's almost like a fucked up version of Tiny Tim just weaseling his way through this film.
I'm
I don't know any other way to explain it.
I mean, I don't want to give everything away, but I'm truthfully waiting for the the SJW backlash. Because
yeah.
for people like us, it's nothing, and I'm not saying that to ostracize anybody, but I'm just talking about people who can watch entertainment and not look for something that to call problematic. Journalists, on the other hand, they thrive on that shit. Just kind of having that in the back of my head while watching it and fully enjoying it. None of the movie bothered me, of course, at all. If anything, with all horror movies, I wish it was a little more amped up, but that's okay. I'm not the director, but I just felt yeah, some people are probably gonna pigeonhole Nick's performance or character, which you can't really do. You just can't. He'll look a one way but act a different way. It's just really bizarre. But
it's so bizarre.
I think some journalists are gonna pick apart that and pick apart what we picked up on about the main detective really quickly. I don't see a problem with her at all. I think she was great at what she did, and even though they didn't come out and call her autistic, she definitely has traits 1,000%.
Sure. Yeah.
Even with the little twist there, but she's just emotionally cut off from everything and very cold and calculating. And I think there's going to be some journalist somewhere that's bored that needs some clicks or something, but it's just going to give him more press. So more power to him, because I was really worried it was going to be poopy like the Black Coat's daughter, and it was great.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This one was way better than Perkins, his previous work with the Black Coat's daughter. This one was so, in some parts, very unsettling.
I was unsettled the whole time, honestly.
Yeah, it's so...
I didn't even really, feel comfortable in the quick bar scene that they had in, the classy bar. I was just this place even seems fucking off. And I think it's more that retro feel.
Yeah, and you get that as soon as you start the film.
I almost wish the movie would have stayed in 4:3 the whole time.
Yeah, because you get that kind of the 70s retro kind of horror film
Yeah,
kind
it
of
looks
vibe.
almost home movie, but like on like a tripod. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't look found footage, but it looks very grainy, very low quality. And then of
And
course it changes. But
I
yeah,
love those parts.
the
I
opening is
love
so
those
fucking
like
good.
really grainy film kind of parts.
Yeah,
Makes them
and
even more creepy and just
every scene I was looking in the background. And I don't know if it's something that happened with like, 2010s horror, but like a lot of 2010s horror, always had like something in the background, like standing there, like the hereditary grandma or the chick from Inside sitting right behind the fucking couch that is in like pure darkness. Unless you look like the right time, you're not gonna see. Like that movie was like one of my biggest jump scares from those days, but I've just kind of been trained to like look for shit like that. Like I know It Follows has a bunch of shit like that, but I was just always looking in the background for shit.
Oh
And the cool
yeah.
thing about that movie is it's very grainy. So you're just like, there's no way to confirm if there's something in the fucking background or not. Or you're just looking at a pile of clothes.
Well, and it's so cryptic. It alludes to a lot of different things. Especially when the part where she's researching the evidence and she comes across like the Nine Circles of Hell book, and she finally makes the correlation of how the deaths are happening, and it's basically coming into the shape of the inverted triangle. At that point, I was not even like thinking like this has something to do with like satanic rites or a satanic ritual or something like that. The whole thing was so well marketed.
Oh,
How
I
they
think the
did
marketing
this,
team is probably better than the movie, honestly. I love the movie. I would probably give it an 8 or a 9 out of 10. The only thing holding me back on solidifying that 9 is I want a director's cut. I know there's got to be more footage. And when I saw the runtime before we met up this morning, I was like, it's only going to be an hour and 42. But like everybody these days bitches about long movies. But if I'm paying money, which we were blessed here, but like if I was paying that money, I want to see a long ass fucking movie. I don't have any problem sitting in the theater for 3.5 hours. But everybody in the world is like, I can't stand it. It's so boring. But I don't really go to the theater.
But to say that though, I think the pacing in the movie was great.
Yeah, he edited it really well. I mean, the editing is phenomenal. Like that fade from fucking red back into color after the title card, that really slow red fade that just like almost hurts your eyes was fucking awesome. The quick strobe light part in the toy chest was awesome. He had a lot of really good cuts and a lot of good framing.
Yeah. Overall, this film is well done from a marketing standpoint, from all the weird shit that they did. The phone number that was put on the billboard without any explanation. They just basically just said call the man downstairs, and the trailers that were so weird and off-putting. It definitely made the hype of this film so good, and the film is not a disappointment. I don't think I was thoroughly impressed actually by Perkins, because with his previous work I wasn't really into it, but with this one, I think he kind of redeemed himself a bit, and I think he's going to make a name for himself on this one. I think because Nicolas Cage's performance in this movie is just outright bizarre.
Right. But I have to stress, like, it's not Nick Cage that makes the movie.
It's not.
It's all the parts. It's
everything.
And he's not in it too much. He's not in it too little. There's only really like 1 or 2 scenes I feel like Nick Cage goes over the top, but for like the average person, that's freaky. Like, to us, it makes us laugh because we've seen him do it in so many movies. Like I get flashbacks whenever, whenever he gets hyped up, I just like
die.
Yeah, I flash back to shit like Face Off, and I flash back to like just like all the different movies that we grew up with Nick Cage. So like, that makes me giggle, but like, if I was to show some random person who didn't know Nick Cage, that probably freaked them the fuck out.
Yeah, because there are some scenes where, especially like in the scene with the when he goes into the convenience store, it's just so goofy and
I
so
really thought that girl was
and
gonna get it too. I had a hunch, and like that's why I like this movie, because like I don't go through movies trying to predict what the hell's gonna happen, but like I do try to be like, I think this might happen, or I think this might be a twist, but I don't try to like obsess over it, because I'll never forget the day I jokingly got the twist to Bird Box, and I laughed so hard I cried, and I was like, God, that was such a shitty fucking. Because my nephew was watching it, he lived with us, and I would be gaming on the main TV, and he was watching it next to me. I was like, "The fuck are you watching?" And he was like, "Bird Box," and I kind of got into the beginning, and I was like, "Oh, I already know what's gonna happen," joking around, and I just like went back to playing Dark Souls, and he just like turned around and looked at me an hour and a half later, and he was like, you were right. And I just like was like, what? And he was like, what you said happened really happened. And I just fell out of the chair fucking laughing. Because I never guessed shit like that. Movie was really cool because every time I'm like, I bet this might happen. Like, nope, something completely different happened.
Completely like left turn happens.
Yeah. But it's not a what the fuck is going on movie by any means. It's a very like methodical, procedural. There's not a lot of time jumps. You know, I feel weird because the marketing team was like, it's a crazy scary movie. It is very scary. And if you're susceptible to jump scares, it will fucking get you for sure. There was one time where I was like, I think I jumped, but I'm not sure if I jumped, but I feel like I jumped there. But, you know, if you're not used to that or you're very easily jump scareable, it'll probably get you a few times. But
yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a film that's like built in for like jump scares. I think this is a film that builds tension.
Yeah, it's just dread.
And it's definitely one that, like you said, is methodical. It kind of gives me like Seven vibes.
Right. And that's what I was saying is like they tried to market it as like horror. It's so scary. It's so scary. And it is pretty fucking scary. Like
it's more disturbing than anything.
Right. I'm not going to be that person that's like, it's the scariest movie since fucking Silence of the Lambs. Like, no, I'm not going to do that because Silence of the Lambs I hated and it didn't do anything for me until I watched it like recently and could really take it the fuck in. Like, I saw it when I was like 12 and I was like, this is hilarious. You know, so I don't want to go on that tangent, but it's like, it's a lot like they should have pointed out it was a true crime movie, but that might have subverted the horror a little bit because the true crime aspects are there and it is real.
Yeah. And that's what I like about it is the more true crime side of it.
Right. It's like a satanic panic movie, but without being like, we're going to market this as a satanic panic movie in the 70s and 80s. And like, it's really hard because mostly when I see satanic panic stuff, it drives me nuts because it never led anywhere, but it just scared everybody back in the day.
Yeah.
And this is just like, yeah, Satan's there, but like Satan might even be better than what the fuck's happening here because this is just fucked up.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about this movie is they take the true crime aspect and they also morph it into this kind of supernatural thing.
But they don't overdo that either, which was great.
Yeah, no, because you don't know exactly like.
And it's not like
while the film is going, you don't know exactly if that's
you're not happening. Like, oh, I think this might be like voodoo related, and then it turns out to be like this is something like holy. At least me, I've never fucking heard of anything like this, and it's just like a twist of magic that he sprinkled in there that he doesn't explain, and it's like there you go.
Exactly, and that's what kind of made this movie a little magical for me. I really enjoyed it. I think it's unique. It's definitely one of the better films I've seen this year, for sure.
As far as horror films, yeah, for sure. I think out of everything we have planned that I've watched so far, I think it's definitely my favorite. Like double over.
Yeah, which you know we're coming up with a new list. We're trying to do more of the newer films, and that's why I wanted to see this one.
I wanted to see this one too. I haven't seen
the marketing on this one was so hype and it was so interesting. I didn't know what to make of it when I first saw the first trailer. I was like, is this going to be like a found footage film? Is this going to be, you know, a cult like movie? I didn't know what it was going to be.
I mean, I feel like it was a good mishmash of just like so many things and none of it overstayed its welcome. And I get that people aren't loving long movies these days, but me just being the inquisitive person, I'm like, just give me another hour. Like, I just want another hour. It's not that I want to know, like, specifically Nick Cage's character's, like, motivations or where he came from, or I want some prequel explaining his life, something, you know, stupid like that. Like, I just want more of what we saw.
Yeah. Because the way that the movie starts is that it's a complete fucking mystery. There's no setup to it. It's just like, these things just happen. Like it starts off with the little girl who sees the station wagon outside of her house.
And I have to say, not to interrupt, but like I've been thinking more about it since we've seen it, and like he didn't really scare me much in theaters. He made me uncomfortable and like kind of disturb me. I feel like 1 month from now he's gonna like pop up in one of my dreams and I'm gonna be like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like I think it's gonna be one of those things.
Yeah. And you know, it starts off with that scene with the little girl looking out the window and she sees the station wagon. She goes outside and there's nobody in the station wagon and she hears Nicolas Cage going, I don't know exactly what he said, but he's like,
he did the cuckoo thing.
Yeah, okay. So
he was just like cuckoo, and I was like, why would you go near that? Why? And that was my thing about the opening scene, which you learn after the twist makes more sense. But in the opening scene, I'm like, why is she just walking out there?
Yeah.
Like the second a
And-
car pulled up outside and my mom saw me getting my shoes on, she'd be like, no, you're staying inside.
Right. And, and we come to find out later that, the detective Lee Harkin, who's the main character in this movie.
And she's so good, dude. Like I
was
don't know her from anything
outstanding.
else.
Outstanding
but,
performance.
Yeah, I don't know her from anything else, but holy shit, man, she is fucking awesome. And that's another thing I just want to add in, like, no sexuality in this movie at all.
No,
like, we're gonna have a night where Lee brings home a dude drunk and has sex with him just to show that she's some wild age. Like, none of that shit is there.
No.
This movie is to the fucking point, and it's only on the point.
And that's what I love about it. It's definitely a real true crime like horror film.
Yeah.
And there's no bullshit mashed into it, no overdone character building. And what's great about this one is that, like you said, the twist at the end was unique, and I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't some massive jaw-dropping revelation, but you're just like, that's how they did that, and that is severely fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, from the moment of the interrogation scene on, I mean, like, mentally my jaw was on the floor.
Yeah, I agree, because from that point on, I was definitely because
I was really worried, like, oh, they're not gonna go into detail. Once we saw that interrogation scene, I was like, it's about to wrap up in like 0.2 minutes, like tops, like, and it didn't. There were still like 45 minutes left. So I'm really glad that I feel like this fully ran its course. Now we'll see what happens when producers get fucking greedy, but. Yeah, I feel like this is hopefully a one and done thing, but I also feel like Longlegs as a character, people might shit their pants about, and then they're going to cast like the kid from It to do like a prequel version of his life or something.
I really hope not.
And he's going to be like, look at my face, I'm the leprechaun. And it's just going to be like really fucking stupid. Every article I see about that dude, he's like, I'm in The Crow. Check out how much I look like The Crow. And then it's like, and you know why I got the part of It? Because I can move my eyes independently. And it's like, but can you act, motherfucker? Like, that's all we're worried about here.
Yeah, I really hope that in Nosferatu earlier and later this year, he doesn't have any lines.
When does Nosferatu drop? We should probably go see
Christmas.
That.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, let's try to make that a date.
Yeah, for sure. Because I want to see that one because I love Eggers. And
I do too, but he's skating that line with me.
His movies. Yeah, I can't.
I love him too, but he's skating that line because I'm like, what I want, and you won't deliver it. Like, I want the witch, man, and that's the thing about Nosferatu is, it's set back in the day, so he can focus back on, all that interior decorating of like, time specific pieces and all that. The thing that does bum me out is Anna Taylor-Joy dropped the fuck out, and now we got to deal with Lily Rose Depp, but she'll probably just be food.
Which, exactly. I saw that show that she was in, the one with The Weeknd, and it was horrible.
I wouldn't watch that if I had a gun to my head. I'd just say pull it.
It was terrible. It was just nothing but just like meaningless bullshit sex shit. That's it. But back to this anyway. So the movie kind of continues on where Lee Harkin, she's a detective, and honestly, they didn't even allude to the fact that the beginning was a flashback, which was pretty cool. But yeah, she gets this. She's on this case or whatever with her original partner, and she has some sort of psychic abilities.
That fucking scene. That was the first time I was like, did I jump? I think I jumped. I might have jumped there.
Like, I was like, oh, this is going to be like bullshit. She's just like, she's fucking with everybody. Like,
or it's going to be like, normal dress Nick Cage. Like, I'm sorry, you're the wrong place type.
Right. Like a Buffalo Bill kind of thing.
Right.
But no, it was somebody else. And her partner gets his fucking wig blown off, which is fucking awesome.
And I will say that too, is like, none of the movie violence wise is gratuitous, but it is very fucking impactful.
Yes, I totally agree.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's all shotguns, just like right to people's faces, but you don't. Right, it's not like the camera isn't in the face, so it's like, oh man, I wonder what's about to happen, and then you just hear boom and just see the biggest sprays of blood.
You know what it kind of reminded me of was the shotgun scene in House of the Devil.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
It definitely reminded me of that, like just how fucking random it was.
Yeah,
and
back when T West was fucking swinging for the fences.
Yeah, rest in peace, T West. because I'm not going to see Maxine. Fuck that
yeah,
shit.
I was pretty let down by the first two, and I mean, I'm sure I'll catch Maxine when completely upset because there's nothing else.
You know, I liked X. It was okay. Pearl was fucking dumb.
Those things just don't. I get it. Well, I'm critiquing every generation. I get that. Cool, man, but it just doesn't do anything for me. I mean, Mia Goth is cool. Like, I don't hate on her, but it's just
Yeah, for
like
sure.
what he's telling in each story. Like, first one's just a retread of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, cool. I mean, and like, you know, for the youth, it's like there's hotties in it. It's Mia Goth and it's fucking Jenny Ortega.
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, like 12-year-old boys are oozing over that shit right now. So I get it, but also I don't want to see it again because you ain't touching fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, I mean, like the best part of the first film was just basically the old lady and how fucking wild she was.
But
that
every
was it.
time I see a fucking creepy old lady, what do I think of? Record, and I'm like, nothing tops that. Nothing.
Or the Taking of Deborah Logan. That's another good one.
Yeah. I actually revisited that like a couple weeks ago, and it's still just fucked. And I think it's just fucked just because, like, you know, the last maybe, if we split it into 6, like, parts like 4 and 5 of that movie are just like, oh my god, where are we? We're in some deep tunnel. What's happening? And then like the end is just like, I'm consuming a whole human right now, whole. Just like, holy shit. It's not that Uncle Joe just has dementia. His jaw dislodges too.
Yeah, like a snake. Yeah, it's like, this is just happening. You know?
And it's funny that movie has become such a status that's like, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately as we're getting older, is like, we're seeing movies now that we're like, that was pretty good in theaters, but like 15, 20 years from now, like somebody's gonna like see just like a picture of Longlegs on a creepypasta website and be scared to watch it for 10 years and then finally watch it, and it's probably gonna ruin their life. Because I had movies like that when I was little where I was like, I'm never gonna rent this based on the cover. And then you do, and half the time it sucks, but every once in a while you get one and you're like, holy shit, I waited 10 years to watch this movie and it still fucked my head up.
Yeah.
And I feel that way with Longlegs, and like Deborah Logan is like that now. Like I always see the picture of her swallowing the girl, and everybody's like, "This is a true story," and I'm like,
"No."
But you 12-year-olds can believe that on the internet if you want,
right?
With all your skibbity toilets and such,
with your Slenderman, yeah. But yeah, dude, like the way that this movie just goes on, like. You're not, you said you're not sure if it's voodoo of what's going on or if it's just.
I mean, that was an example. I mean, at that point,
story.
Yeah, we're crawling in the dark because it's like, okay, Satan, but you know, there's Satan in every religion and cult, like blah blah blah. Who knows where this is gonna go? And I didn't want it to hit like this is Christian Satanism, and it doesn't even it alludes towards that, but not real hard. I mean, given the rural area and stuff like that, and there's not really any leanings one way or the other. It's a good guess, but whatever fucking magic he possesses was fucking crazy.
Yeah, and you know, and that's what's kind of like fucking me up about this movie. It's like because they said that he instilled some kind of magic into these dolls that he would make, and he would basically have, well, you know, we're going into a little deep, but you know, he would instill these magic into these dolls, and then these acts of murder would happen.
Right.
And it's like,
and I got to give props to the doll scenes because they were fucking
creepy.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, how is he going to mesh all this? Because you have like heinous crimes, crime scene photos, and then you have Nick Cage being a weirdo. And there are, I will say, forewarning, there are shots in the trailer that aren't in the movie that I think they just did for promo shit, but that's pretty run of the mill these days. But I think in this case, it helped it not only financially, but it helped you get in the door and like, give it a shot. But also it's, you know, he doesn't really like explain any of it. There's not a hint of it anywhere. If there is, it's very subverted and I didn't notice it.
Right.
So like when I saw the doll scenes, I was thinking that it was maybe like some weird, because of the sheath, like some weird Mormon cult or like some weird like grieving ritual that maybe some subsect of Christianity does, and maybe this is just like a funeral scene or something completely different and completely more terrifying in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. Because, like you said, he doesn't explain it, and you don't know if it's like real supernatural kind of thing. It's almost like, you know, when you first watch the first Terrifier, you know, Art is just this thing.
Right.
He's just this entity. that happens. And, it makes you question whether or not if Nicolas Cage's character is even a real human being or if he's just like the supernatural being.
I think it's going to take a
You know.
while for me to process the family dynamics that we witness. That's all I'll say on that. Like, I'm going to just lay in bed tonight like, but what?
Right.
I mean, there's holes. I'm not going to lie. There are holes in this movie. They might be sewed up. It might be obvious, but like, there are certainly holes where I'm like gonna sit tonight and be like, how does this make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, like the rest of the movie was so good. I, for one, being like a canon nerd and like a continuity nerd, like I'm not gonna care. The movie was just fucking
I don't
good.
care either.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter because the whole, like, way that everything just played out was just so satisfying and unique, and it felt new, it felt fresh.
It's weird that he grabbed something like, late 70s, early 80s that so many people lived, but or so many of our age knew about from like our parents having lived through it or our older sisters or brothers having lived through it. And the youth of today don't know anything about what the Satanic Panic was, but like, and put a complete fresh spin on it. And it wasn't like, say, House of the Devil. And it wasn't like, any of the other Satanic Panic movies you could think of. I know there's like 80 of them, but he didn't just throw, Anton LaVey in a cloak sacrificing a baby on an altar at the end.
No. Well, and that's what I liked also is, eludes that, Satan was, a part of all this, but it wasn't like so overdone.
When you find out what you think he's talking about a metaphor, but he's not.
He's not.
And that's
because you
terrifying.
only see the shadow of Baphomet at some point.
I noticed, I don't know if you saw it because I think you were like looking to the side or something, but during the opening credits, during that red flash like die down, there was a fucking quick subliminal image, like super quick. And I don't know if it was maybe the snake that you constantly see that I'll spoil this really has no bearing except for maybe the whole story of
doing heart scenes. Because there's always flash of snakes and
except for maybe that, either it's just to point out somebody's untrustworthy or that maybe the story of Adam and Eve.
They're talking about the serpent.
Right.
It's so.
But I couldn't tell if that flash was a snake or something completely different because I hadn't seen the snake yet, but also it was real fast. I mean, I think you looked away for like 1 second to grab something. And it was just like, and I was just like, and I looked at you and you were just coming back to the screen and I was like, okay, I hope I saw that.
Yeah. And, but that kind of makes me a little hopeful for Perkins.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
I hope he doesn't.
That just shows that he's actually putting art into his movie.
I hope he doesn't stick to like Nick Cage. I hope he doesn't stick to like a theme. I want to see that guy move.
No, he needs to. He needs to do more like this. He needs to do more original things. And definitely stick with that fucking marketing because it was awesome.
Yeah, I wish I could find like the name of the marketing team because I would totally see what else they've been fucking involved in because those trailers we saw had nothing to do with that marketing team. I will tell you that. Except for Cuckoo, which is funny how much it relates to the name, to what happens in that movie. But the trailer for Cuckoo looked pretty interesting. So I'm going to keep an eye on that movie for sure. But other than that, every trailer we saw was fucking dog shit. I thought we were going to get kicked out for making fun of the trailers because they were so fucking bad. But we could not help ourselves.
The movie, the trailers that were before the movie were just awful.
Yeah. And they were all brought to you by Blumhouse. And I was just like, here it goes again. Here it comes again. But the movie, I don't know, Cuckoo, I don't know anything about it coming out. I'm not going to get too far into it, but the trailer definitely looked like a fucking wild time, and it looked pretty
It did. Yeah, and it's kind of funny that they threw that trailer into this movie.
Yeah, and it looks like it'll hit. It's actually launching in Germany first, but August 9th. So I'll keep an eye out on that.
It kind of reminds me of like the craziness of that movie Dashcam.
Yeah, and it had like,
if you ever seen it,
very heavy Twin Peaks vibes because I know it was in the Pacific Northwest, but like it had like a diner and it had like a lodge and it had like we're gonna have a lot of Lynch, Twin Peaks, Mark Frost flavor without involving either of them, and it didn't feel rip-offy.
Right. Yeah, I'll definitely have to keep my eye on that one because
that was it though.
It looked like
we did about 10 trailers of poop and saw that one. And I just want to shout out again the Speak No Evil trailer. If you go see that, you're retarded. But that's that.
Even the and that when that movie came out with the Dutch version, and everybody was like sucking the dick off of that movie. I watched it way late into the game, and I watched it, and my first initial thoughts were like, this movie could have been done a long time ago.
Yeah. And I don't care about spoiling
And
any of that movie because it's trash, but like there's only 4 scenes that grab me. It's when they go down into the den and they see the pictures, which even if you cut a kid's tongue off, he can still fucking speak, write, moan. So that's some bullshit. That the beating his ass because he can't dance scene. Them being fucking like a mile, 2-3 miles away, and the baby's like, I'm bringing out my bunny, and he's like, I'll turn around because I'm Danish and we are nice. And I'm like,
fucking
don't do
God,
that,
dude.
Um,
Like, be American and just say we'll buy you another one from Walmart.
right, but that movie didn't disturb me because like, and I think it's a cultural difference. But by the end, when they get stoned to death, I just reveled in that whole like 5-minute scene. I was just like, yes, throw another rock. Can you throw a rock for me? Try to hit the girl in the head because she was really
That's like
fucking
the
annoying.
only satisfying part of that movie.
Yeah,
Because the rest of it was just total dog shit.
and I think I think it's just because we're culturally different. I think if you saw that in Europe, you would be like, holy shit, I get it, you know, blah blah blah. But I am just slightly interested to hear how they change it in the American sentiment because Americans are like, this feels dodgy. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then if anybody is like, no, you have to stay, I don't want you to leave, you're like, get the fuck off me, I'm going home. Like, we don't fuck around with that shit. So I'm just like, I'm wondering how they're gonna tweak it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And
when they speed up the
James
trailer though,
McAvoy-
I noticed some shit that isn't even in the Danish version, like the
No.
mom's hanging from the roof and shit.
yeah,
So
it's a
maybe
little
he's
different.
much more aggressive. I don't know. But
I don't know
I read
either.
like a synopsis from somebody who was Danish, and they were like Danish people and like people from the Netherlands in general just like are like that. They're so worried about offending each other and stepping on each other's toes. They're the type of people that when you're like saying goodbye at the holiday, you're like, okay, I'm leaving, and then you sit there for 2 hours talking afterwards because you don't want to be rude and leave before you're done being spoken to type shit.
Yeah.
Not
Maybe
for me,
that's where I get it.
but
That's where I get it from. I don't know.
I mean, we've always done that at parties, but I mean, my thing is just like I even outside of that, I don't see anything amazing in that movie. The one scene that really got to me though is when the fucking handler grabbed the daughter out of the car, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, because the mom is sitting next to her. And the dad is sitting in the front seat, and they're just letting this random Middle Eastern dude just take her daughter into the night, and they never see her
Yeah.
daughter again. And I'm like, you put up no
Like-
fucking fight.
No fight at all. And that's my whole gripe with that movie.
Yeah.
It's just like they did nothing.
Yeah.
Like they did nothing to prevent any of that. So whatever they got in the end, they deserved. And
It felt good. It felt
mean,
good to watch.
yeah, exactly.
I didn't watch a
Like,
bunch of
everybody's just
villains
like-
commit a genocide. I watched 2 very shitty parents get stoned to death, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I really
exactly.
thought
But,
for
you
a
know,
while, like, that was the appeal of the movie. You just watch shitty parents, and you're like, that's what you get when you don't take care of your kids type shit. But it was not that at all.
But like, yeah, when everybody was like talking about that movie, there was just like talking
Yeah.
about like
that was
how
about the time
this-
I bailed out of Facebook. I think that's probably about the time I bailed out of that Strange and Wild Movies group because no, Polly's,
yeah.
Polly's still in
Yeah,
it and will
those
occasionally
guys.
send me like clips or screenshots, and I'm like, go in on them, and she's like, no, because I kind of like coming here and listening to how dumb people are, and I'm like, no, go in on them, because it was around the time that I started flaming people for that movie. But then, you know, there were tons of people every other day being like, I love David Bowie, and I was like, oh, you like child molesters, that's cool. And that's what I got actually banned for, was calling
Yeah, well,
David Bowie a child
it was
molester.
either that or they were talking about Jordan Peele movies,
Mhm.
and I got sick of it. I got so tired.
The
of
more I
seeing,
think about it,
like-
the more I can appreciate Nope, but that's it. Like, I would watch Nope
did-
again if I had like a really high def system. If I had a TV bigger than the TV I already have and a really nice sound system, I would watch Nope again, because Nope has the John Ford shots and the Steven Spielberg wide cam shots of like the desert. I like that. John Ford and Steven Spielberg have already done that their whole fucking lives, so I can see it elsewhere better, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And he gets bonus points because it's a movie about weird aliens. I'm always a sucker for that. I don't care what it is. But yeah, I wouldn't watch any other Peele movie, but we've been down that road 1,000 times.
A million times.
Yeah.
I still think he has not put out anything that's worth a shit.
Yeah. I mean, like I
Um,
can say, visually, I like parts of Nope. Visually. When no one's talking. when it's just like a nice wide pan shot of the desert. I'm like, that's pretty sick, which we'll talk about in one of our other episodes later, because there's a lot of really good wide shots in that movie, which are just as good as Jordan Peele's. So that goes to show you something.
Yeah.
You just need a camera with a
But
wide lens.
speaking of, in this movie though, the camera work
Yeah, man.
is
Oh yeah,
it's impeccable.
whole time.
I
mean,
it.
from
you
the
know,
shot of the little girl looking into the station wagon before he cuckoos behind her, I literally like thought I could see Nick Cage hunched over looking at her in the fucking car. And that has to do with it, you know, being low quality to look like it was filmed in the 70s and 80s.
exactly.
But I thought he was just like holding the wheel, leaning into the passenger seat, staring at her. And then you hear that cuckoo, which also I was like, did I just jump? And then
like,
you
when
just
she
see him
goes
wave
into
and
the-
disappear like he's art or some shit. And I'm like, what the
Right.
fuck?
Yeah, and then when she goes into the backyard and they literally do like the strobe, like boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, like,
Yeah.
and then you
The
see him
intro
just pop
feels
up.
so 70s, dude. It's great.
It does, like, it's so retro and it's
And they're just like cutting off
weird.
the camera here. And then when he
Yeah.
finally drops and says the title card, I was like, holy shit, dude, we are in for it. Like I was on board there 100%.
Exactly, dude. It catches your attention like right from the start, and it does not lag at all.
Yeah, there's not any part of like his performance where I'm like, I was like mortified or I was like, aha, that's really fucking hokey. Like, just because I know his history, we laughed a couple times, but like, because we know where he's going to take it to eventually, at least once or twice. That's his signature, and I'm not going to fault that dude for that, even if I don't love that in everything. Like, if I could watch him in a deadpan movie where he never brings it like above a 6, it would be fucking crazy. So I expected it like once or twice, and he gave it to us, but
right.
and we laughed at it, but it's still
It was
fucking
funny.
terrifying
Yeah,
to
but
like
it
the
was
random
still,
person.
It was still weird and still creepy and unsettling.
But my shit is just like when he's just being like a 5 to 6, and he's just like ranting about something or talking about birthday girls, saying, hi, how are you doing? Like, it is disgusting. I'm repulsed. I want to vomit. And like the whole opening, like, I don't know if maybe that scene, I really like see the production notes on Wikipedia like a year or two after now, because I want to know if Nick Cage kind of took the helm on some scenes and was like, no, we can make this more fucked up, or this was like all Oz's idea. But that intro, I feel, is a masterclass, not even of horror, but just of filmography. Like the panning,
Exactly.
the camera setup, it's still in 4:3, so like you're not having to look in this corner of the screen or that corner of the screen, like it's centered.
Yeah,
And I'm just like,
and that was brilliant,
Yeah,
actually.
dude, because that fucking drop to his like, here's my whole face. You're just like, and then the credits just start. It's so good.
Yeah, dude, I loved it. You know, his performance in this movie, I think, is one of the more darker and kind of creepier characters that he's ever played.
Like I say, I always want horror movies to go further, because I've probably said it before and I'll make it brief, but like once I hit around like 14, 15, Blockbuster did this thing where like you could just buy like a membership card for the summer, and it was like $10 for one movie, $20 for two, $30 for three. And I think my dad got me like the $30 one. And I could go there like 5 times a day after I watched whatever 3 movies I had and swap them out. So I was just like fucking in and out of that door, just like, and my dad wasn't paying attention to what I was renting. He always said, and everybody's gonna laugh if they watch this, but I could never rent Boogie Nights. And I tried many times. I would have stacks of movies, and I'd have Boogie Nights like halfway through, and he'd go, put that back. I could never rent Boogie Nights, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, probably my favorite movie. And I could never rent 8 Mile. I never tried to rent 8 Mile because I don't give a fuck about Eminem, but my dad just fucking hates that movie so much. So I was renting Takashi Miike movies. I was renting fucking, I Saw the Devil. I was renting every fucked up Asian horror movie ever. I was renting like basically like softcore murder porn movies. And my dad was just like, I don't care. Is this 8 Mile? Put this shit back.
And that kind of reminds me. Did you ever see the movie, the Japan horror movie Infection?
It sounds really familiar. I know I got
It's a
to a
good
point
one.
with Japanese horror where like, I remember the last movie I stopped on was just like this guy who would wear like probably like 1950s doctor's garb, just like a cotton mask, the cap, and then the gown. And he just had like 2 people tied up in the sewer and was just sawing on them. And I was like, that's pretty crazy. What kind of story is there to this movie? And it's just an hour and 45 minutes of him just sawing on people. And I was like, I'm kind of over this shit. But I mean, that's my thing, is like, I always want horror movies to go around there somewhere close, but have story and shit. So like, yeah, I would have liked to see Nick Cage, I don't know, maybe eat some mother fucking body. I don't care. Like, that's where I would have liked to take it, but I'm not faulting the movie for not doing that because everything else is so good. And I do think that's probably the darkest character he's played. And I like that, like, you get plenty of his screen time, but you don't get a lot of insight.
No,
except for that Robert Smith poster. Like,
and it's secretive, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what I like about it. It's something that it leaves to the imagination. You know, that's the kind of movies that I like. So, like with the Hereditaries and the Midsummers, and
yeah,
you know,
that's where I am at now, man. I know everybody cries about, oh, Hereditary's so boring. Like, did you not even see any of the shit happening around the movie the whole fucking time?
Like, if somebody can say that movie is boring to me, I know that they're a goddamn liar and they didn't pay attention.
Yeah, and I mean, it's cool when a movie doesn't grab you at first, but if like everybody's talking about it and everybody's like, just pay attention, try it one more fucking time. And I'm sure somebody's going to be like, yeah, Mike, but what about a Jordan Peele movie? If you really wanted to sit down and try to tell me that the second time I watch Get Out, I'll like it, I'll try it, but I guarantee I'm gonna fall asleep. Like, you better be tasing me because that shit's boring. But I have to give.
I don't want to watch a movie with stupid ass reverse racism in it.
Yeah, but what's that? That doesn't exist. Because you can't be racist to white people. But anyway, before we get this video pulled, I do want to give props to Alicia Witt because I knew her. And she plays the main agent's mother.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, and I don't know if you want to insert this later as an afterthought. There's a picture of her in 2014 on her wiki, and like I don't know how old she was in 2014. She was born in 75, so somebody else do the math because I ain't trying to fuck with that. But she's only 48 right now, and she played a pretty fucking old character. But she was actually blown up from David Lynch. David Lynch had her in Dune, had her in Twin Peaks. And I was like, man, I know her. She was in fucking Mr. Holland's Opus. Cecil B. Demented, Vanilla Sky. And I was like, God damn it, dude, I know her. And like in the movie, she looks like a female Brad Dourif. So I was like, maybe like Brad Dourif has a sister I don't know about or something. But like,
well, Brad Dourif's daughter looks a lot like him.
Yeah, I know that, but she doesn't look that old. So I was like, these are either great prosthetics, which Nick Cage's prosthetics are insane. I mean, he really is almost unrecognizable. If his name was not in the credits, I don't think he would. I think that would have been a great ploy from the marketing team. Never tell anybody because he could probably get away with it, man. It does not look like him under any capacity.
Not at all.
He looks like a beat up fucking school bus driver, like in the worst way, like the school bus driver that would take off her belt and whip your ass if you get fucking crazy, and then take the charge for child endangerment, like willingly.
Literally looks like somebody that would steal your children.
Yeah, like the creepy lady at church that beats her kids till they're fucking like bruised everywhere for the Lord.
Exactly.
Terrifying. And you know, Lee's mother is also extremely unsettling, and Lee is extremely unsettling. Like, I think she spends 3/4 of the movie shaking in anger, and you're like, what the fuck's wrong? Like, what? She looks like a fucking pot about to explode, like a boiling pot. Like,
well, yeah, and I knew something was gonna tie together when when I finally put 2 and 2 together that the kid at the beginning was her, and then with her mom acting completely weird the first time she goes sees her in the movie.
I figured like dementia from the hoarding and shit. I wasn't immediately on what you were on until like probably the payphone call.
Yeah, and I didn't know exactly what extent the mother was going to have involvement in this movie because like you said, the twist at the end definitely just comes out of left field almost.
Yeah,
but
and it's not like a neck breaker, but it unfolds great.
I knew that she was some way influenced by him. I didn't know how or why or what was going to happen.
And I know it's a little spoilerish, but I just felt it was childhood drama from the beginning. Like, I felt that was going to be, like, I thought it was just like she, saw a creepy man when she was little. It really fucked her up in the head type shit.
Yeah, true. Or, suppressed memory, kind of deal. Yeah, this movie all around.
It's worth the money for sure.
It's fantastic.
Especially to hear the loud pops and the jump scares, the loud ass shotguns. I don't have too many standouts from the soundtrack only because there was like a lot of rock in the soundtrack. which I don't love in my horror
Which is-
movies. Like, I love like for somebody to sit there over a synth and be fucking creepy. That's my shit.
I would have definitely preferred some different music.
But I gotta listen to T-Rex because they quote T-Rex in the beginning, and I'm like, I haven't listened to T-Rex in like 10 years.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go listen to that later.
That was something that I was not expecting. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's like because when he's jamming in the car, maybe he's just maybe he's a rocker kind of fucking dude.
Yeah, but I feel like
I don't know what the fuck he is.
I also wonder if that is subtext because it is thematically accurate, but I also wonder if maybe like Oz Perkins' dad or Oz Perkins loves T-Rex a lot and was like, I'm gonna find a way to fit him into a movie some point.
Maybe that could be.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but yeah, definitely I would have made some different choices on the music, but I'm not really complaining because I'm not complaining because the story is so strong.
They had the shrill violin builds up and the pops to the jump scares, like they were all there. And the only bad review I saw was from The Guardian, and they gave it like a 3 out of 5. And I was like, man, everybody's nutting about this movie, and I get that because, like I said, those pre-screeners, they pay for you to get in. You get a nice cushy seat. You get to see it in the best theater. You probably get free food. Probably get to meet people and shit. So yeah, you're going to give it some good props. And I didn't believe every 5-star review. I would probably do 4.5. I'm waiting to see if a director's cut comes out and what that might add. But it's probably the strongest horror movie we're going to get this year, I think.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's perfect.
No.
For me, I would say a strong 4.
Yeah. It could literally do like 4 or 5 different things, and I would be like, that's perfect. Like, it's very close.
Definitely a strong 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic from the shit that we normally get in this genre. And I'm gonna give Oz his props on this
for
one.
Sure.
He definitely went all out, and he pulled out all the stops on being original, and he pulled out just a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, I want to be on the lookout for interviews because I want to hear like more how he came up with this or how long he was sitting on. I mean, we know like Ari will sit on a project since high school, college, and then finally make it. So I wonder how long this has been milling around in Oz's head.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm kind of excited to see more of his work now. I would like to see if he continues to go down this weird little road and see if he can pop out some more original shit. And hopefully, for the fucking life of me, hopefully he does not come out with a sequel for this one. Just let it be, man.
I don't want anything related to this one.
Its own thing.
I probably wouldn't mind seeing like Lee again. Maybe like another story 10 years later. But as long as it doesn't link to Longlegs,
No, like something completely.
Yeah, like
different.
another procedural with her, and it maybe like suffering some traumatic effects from it, obviously. But yeah, I don't want anything related to Nick's character. I want it to be like one and done. You get what you get. If the mystery or certain parts of the mystery didn't satisfy you, we don't have anything else. But that's going to be a fight against producers.
Because there's another, a newcomer, Damien Leone, who is doing the Terrifier movies. I think he's overstaying his welcome.
I wouldn't even say his welcome. I think he's forcing art to overstay his fucking welcome.
Yeah, like you could give
Damien could pop out another thing similar at like Terrifier 1, but he is like
I'm not really thrilled.
Should we go see Terrifier 3 and just light it on fire on here?
I'm gonna see it. Because
if you go see it in theaters,
I'm just interested to see if it's gonna suck or not.
Well, we both get a discount. Really, so if
exactly
if
I'm
you
not
go
really
in theaters,
thrilled.
let's go. And we'll.
I'm not thrilled that it's gonna be a Christmas movie, and I'm not really happy about that because from his initial reporting about the movie, he was saying that he's gonna go back to the more darker vibe.
You can't have Christmas a bitch in angel wings with a sword. Then I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Christmas is not a darker vibe. And I just want you to go back to the fucking factory kind of feel, dusty, dirty,
cold industrial shit.
Slasher. Yeah, just make it a fucking slasher, dude.
Yeah, because
don't make it some fucking goofy ass fucking thing.
You know me and slashers, I have a bias against a lot of them. I respect the greats, but and I respect the creative one-offs like Burning April's Fool Day, etc. But it's just a lot of people we grew up with, they fell in that, and you might have fell in that rut at some point where you were just like, I'm gonna watch slashers for like 2 years, and that's whatever. But I can't do that anymore. I can't. There's only so many oh no, he's behind you with a knife. cuts I can watch.
Well, that's dumb.
And even though Terrifier is mad gory at times, like there was so much story in the second one that I did not need.
I agree. And that was the problem with the second one.
Yeah.
It was way too long.
Yeah.
It was way too long. It could have ended maybe an hour less.
Yeah, like that. I think Friday the 13th and those, they hit that good stride where it's like, these are teenagers, these are teenage struggles, but here's Freddy Krueger. But here's Jason. Like, Jason's a Republican who hates premarital sex, so he's gonna slice you up if you do that. Whatever. Like that was fine because that's all you needed. But when it goes to when it goes to like, I'm drawing my Halloween costume and it's in tribute to my father who had a magical. Dude, what did you smoke before you played that movie?
We didn't need that.
Yeah.
We didn't need it.
And it was crazy because when you told me the runtime of Terrifier 2, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, dude, that's going to be so many kills. And it was not. It was so much like, oh, I slipped you Molly. Go have sex with your boyfriend stuff. And I'm just like, I don't care.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We just want kills. Yeah. I don't want like, the backstory of some dumbass who should have died in the movie, but actually she did, but then she was revived, and
and you don't.
My God, she has a magical sword, and she's
with
going to kill
Longlegs,
him.
you don't get a fucking backstory. Like,
no,
I don't know what this dude ever did before the first time you see him. Like, he could have been a normal dude and was like, I'm just gonna start looking weird to make dolls. Like, you don't know. And I think
and that's what I like.
Yeah,
I like the mystery.
But people are gonna, like, producers are gonna poke and prod and be like, look, Oz, we'll give you this much money, or we'll find somebody else to make the movie because we own the rights. But somebody wants to know about Longlegs when he was a child, and I'm like, God damn it.
I get that, though. Money is money.
Yeah.
But you know what? Stand by your fucking art, and make it something that is its own,
right?
Instead of just
if he never puts out another movie that movie's going to be on my shelf until I die, and then I'm going to pass it along to whatever family members are younger than me, like my nephews, or if I ever have children, like that's going to be something that goes with them. Like, because I only buy movies like that, like movies that I know I would watch more than once, and movies that are like either a whole director like that I love, like Lynch, like I love everything he's put out, so I'm going to own everything he put out. And then when I pass on, somebody's going to get it. And hopefully Blu-ray players still exist so they can watch it or some shit. But, that's just, important to me or whatever. But like, if Oz only makes Longlegs, I'm gonna fucking own Longlegs. And if everything else he makes sucks, I'm
definitely gonna buy this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, look at this dude. All these movies suck, but look at this fucking gem that he made. And it's just gonna make it more important to me. Also, he could put out 10 more movies after this that are just as amazing. I think it's only looking up for him, really. I don't know, man. I was pretty blown away because I was pretty apprehensive. Because Black Coat's Daughter was another movie I tried to watch 3 times and I just fell the fuck asleep. I was like, this is just so.
And I think.
And people were trying to say that like Black Coat's Daughter is related to Longlegs, and I was just like, please don't do this. If I go sit at the fucking movies and this has anything linking to Black Coat's Daughter, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. And it didn't. That I noticed.
No,
so thank God.
Had nothing to do with that. Yeah, and I think what made this movie great is that it forced everybody to kind of go into it blind.
I forced myself, but I do that anymore.
Well, even if you saw the trailers, though, you still didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, like I felt I was robbing myself seeing posters. That's how good the marketing was. I was like, God, that's such a cool image. Like, I don't even want to fucking see that right now. Like that.
But even if you did see that stuff, you still had no idea what
that was my thing about the shroud. Like when I saw the woman in the shroud, but in the trailer, she's like, have you been saying your prayers lately? I was like, I don't even want to see this. I want to see this in the theaters. Like, I want to wait till I'm there to see this part, which, is a little bit of a mix up. But yeah, seeing it in theaters was way, way better. And it's really hard to avoid shit, because we both been playing Shadow of the Erdtree. And every time I get on Twitter, they know from my Google microphone that I'm always on Discord playing with my nephew. So every time I pop open my Twitter feed, it's like, look at this Shadow of the Erdtree. I'm like, no. I just like skip past it real fast so I don't see it. So like, it's really hard these days, but I feel like it definitely paid off in the best way. And I know I'm a super pessimist, especially when it comes to horror movies, but I feel totally good about this one, man.
Yeah. This was great work. And I
feel like if there's merch, I'm going to buy the merch. Like I'm going to get a shirt, something sure. Like
I want to get a shirt. Yeah. I want to look and see if a shirt's going to get, kudos to Cult of Cult for this shirt. I fucking love this shirt, The Dead Alive. Fantastic stuff. They even have a Holy Mountain shirt that I want to get.
Ooh, yeah, I need some Jarodowski
It
shit.
looks sick as fuck, dude.
My problem is my weight fluctuates so much. I'm like, which one am I getting?
I know. I'll probably still wear this even if I, with my bariatric treatment coming up soon, I'll probably still wear this one because it's so fucking good.
You can always tuck in.
Yeah, for sure. They have one on there that is from Jacob's Ladder that is so black metal. It's ridiculous. It's so good. But yeah, Longlegs, I'll definitely look up and see if I can find a shirt.
I'm already doing it like right now.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm really impressed with this movie.
Hold up, just for 1 second, I would like to point out that there is a Michael Myers shirt that says "No Lives Matter." Take of that what you will. I'm not trying to say one way or the other, but that is crazy. And God bless the people on Etsy because this is a fucking. There's already 2 wild ass Longlegs shirts on there. I'm gonna send you.
Hell yeah. But yeah, we got a list of movies that are going to be coming up. I think, what was the next one that you wanted to do?
So we could do Late Night with the Devil because I did watch that. And
Me too.
We could do In a Violent Nature because I did watch that.
Yeah, I think I would want to do In a Violent Nature next. I think that's going to be our next one because I was really impressed with it. I liked it, and I think I didn't get much from you about it, but we're gonna go over that one definitely on the next episode, I think, and then we're gonna do Late Night with the Devil, which was another great fucking movie.
Yeah,
really like that one too.
I think my opinions on each either will be surprising to you, or at least to the degree that I go into them. But I'm just gonna keep it quiet for the podcast. But
yeah.
I'm trying to find a version of The Watchers. If I do, or us, I will shoot you the link because I'm not trying to watch the blurry version with Kobe Bryant gambling ads from Taiwan. Because
I did.
I'd hate to
watch
say
Spectrum.
it was taking away from the Shyamalan mystery for me. I was like, okay, they're in the woods. They're in a secret building. What's happening? And then Kobe Bryant would be like, and then it would just be like, coins and cards shooting all over the screen. And how can I fucking watch a horror movie when this is happening? It's the same thing. It was the same ads from when I watched fucking Beau is Afraid. I'm like depressed, crying, watching Beau is Afraid. And then he's like, and then I'm just like, fucking, how am I supposed to fucking take this seriously? Which, taking an Ari Aster movie seriously is bad enough. Because I just rewatched that because I got it on Blu-ray and I forgot about the penis monster at the end. And I was like, oh yeah, man, I remember how good this movie was. And then like the sex scene happened and I was like, the sex scene I think is where my brain shut off because I was like, that was wild. And then I was
that scene is just so fucking fucked up.
And then I was like texting somebody and I looked back up at the movie and saw the penis monster and I was like, wait, what the fuck? I don't even remember this. So I'm very excited because he did just wrap production on whatever it's called, the Western with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, the Western with Joaquin.
Excited for that, excited for Nosferatu. Excited to do, which whenever you want to do our cast, as long as I'm not working, let me know. I got Bridge Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in office. And then I'm back.
I have training all week, next week.
2 weeks.
But yeah.
So I'll be back.
Saturdays are probably good.
Okay, yeah, because I don't go to my working Saturday schedule until 2 weeks from now.
Okay, well, either Sundays too are better.
Yeah, so we could probably pop out Late Night with the Devil. We could pop out In a Violent Nature, and I'll keep trying to find The Watchers while I'm on my new schedule. Because my new schedule, I'm going to be working until 8.
I ended up watching The Watchers on Spectrum. I rented it, and it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it.
I want to see Trapped because everybody's like, he reveals the plot twist in the trailer, and I'm like, no, he doesn't. He does not fucking do that. There's another plot twist that's going to be way worse.
No, that's not Knight's MO.
Right, but how about that Smile 2 trailer? The Lady Gaga horror movie that they didn't pay Lady Gaga to be in.
I was just like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Right? At first, I thought there was going to be a trailer for Trap, but then it wasn't. Yeah. I was really disappointed. Smile 2 is probably not going to be a go for me.
Smile 1 wasn't a go for me, honestly. I did see the scary picture of the girl with the smile from the end of the movie, and I was like, I think I just saw all I need to see. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was retarded.
I was like, I think that's all I need to see is just see her creepy smile and call it. But that gay dude walking by with that smile fucking killed. I really thought we were going to get kicked out during the previews. They were so fucking bad.
That guy that was sitting next to us was so mad. He was
I
just
thought
like,
he
well, these
was,
guys,
but I didn't really look at him.
He kept sighing, and he was just like, well, these guys shut the fuck up.
I mean, we were quiet during the movie. I'm not going to be a dickhead during a movie.
No.
But when you
we
make
were
me
quiet
sit through
during the movie.
13 minutes of Blumhouse Productions previews, I'm going to make fun of them. When your big selling point for a movie is from the producers of Megan and the Black Phone, I'm going to make fun of you because the Black Phone ruled, but you were just producers. You just fucking threw $10,000 at somebody to make a movie. You have nothing to do with how good the movie is.
That's like somebody trying to say that Jordan Peele had anything to do with like the actual directing of the remake of Candyman, which wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible.
I ain't doing it. Don't even try to get me there.
It wasn't bad.
I've been watching Martin Lawrence every night before bed, and that's where I'm staying. Okay. I've been watching the Martin Show with Dan Gina and Tommy and Cole, and I'm happy there. I'm not gonna go fucking risk my life on fucking Jordan Peele shit. That's like somebody tried to tell me Lovecraft Country was all right. Get the fuck up out my face.
Dude, that show was so dumb.
But what if Lovecraft was so racist that all the people he killed in his show were of color? No, he was not that racist. Good Lord, calm down.
God damn it.
No, but that's been the real reason why I haven't been too excited about the cast is there just haven't been good horror movies lately. I can't. Yeah, if anybody sees this and they want to be like, watch this in the comments, I dare you, because we'll watch it. Yeah. And you know how bad our bad reviews can go, so just be prepared. don't hold something sacred in your heart if you don't want us to catch it on fire.
Demons within has returned.
I still get an ad on Roku like twice a week where it's like, do you want to watch Demons Within? Do I want to just shoot myself? Because the quick second that I would hear the flash would be more entertaining than that fucking movie.
It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Yeah. That guy was so excited to have me review it. And he was so mad after we reviewed.
There's nothing there. Like, I wish there had been, man. I wish.
Like, as soon as I sent him,
it wasn't even it's so bad it's funny. Like, there was none of that.
And I told him, I was like, it doesn't guarantee a good review. And he's like, that's perfectly fine. As soon as I sent him the link after we finished that review, he insta-blocked me.
I don't even know what we said in the first 5 minutes, but it had to be pretty bad. Oh, yeah. We're great.
Anyway, join us again, the Darkest Fears podcast. Our next episode will be coming up on In a Violent Nature.
Yeah, I got to get out of here because I'm sweating like a Boy Scout troop.
Definitely leave us a comment and a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this
video.
Tell us
what you want us to fucking watch.
And tell us what you thought about the movie if you've seen it.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, go fucking see it because it's so good. It's one of the better movies I think you're going to see.
I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up for you getting off the fucking couch, not buying it on streaming, and going to fucking support it.
Yes. Go to the movies, support the theaters, and go see that shit. Because I think Oz deserves that on this one, for sure. And with that being said, we're out.